now time for the headlines. Here we go. Daily Graphic. The big one is Akunta mining license revoked. And then other big stories include the world mourning Pope Francis, 34 police commanders reshuffled in Galamsey areas, and President Mahama unveiling a vision for the private sector at the Kwahu Business Forum. Okay, Ghanaian Times, still on the Kwahu Business Forum. We're turning the corner, says President Mahama, and Akunta mining also in the news with the revoking of their license for trespassing the Tano Nimin Forest Reserve, and tributes pouring in from world leaders on the death of Pope Francis. Yohuno orders detention of 3 cops, that's the IGP, over alleged $70,000 theft. Akunta mining has become a criminal syndicate, says Amabua, the Lands Minister. And the verse today, 1 Timothy 6:10, for the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil. Some people, eager for money, have wandered from the faith and pierced themselves with many, I don't even know, like thorns, yeah. I guess. BNFT, commercial grade nickel discovered in Oti region. What else? 3 oil refineries and 5 petrochemical plants to be constructed. And the government gets bold digital reset in motion. That's a tech news there for you. Okay, that's your BFT. The Daily Searchlight, Enterprise fires back. UEW student kills himself for love? Question mark. And new HIV infections spreading like wildfire in Brekum municipality, says Ghana Health Service. Still the world mourns Pope Francis. Daily Guide, Baumia MPP begin thank you tour. Okay. Police seize illegal ammunitions in Volta region. And a throwback to Nana and President Akufo-Addo and President Mahama meeting in Kwahu. Okay, so those are the headlines. I'll be passing it over to Thelma shortly. I have a conversation on Earth Day and the environment, and I'll be speaking with Engineer Dr. Ken Ashigbe. He's the convener for the Media Coalition Against Galamsey. We'll be looking at what's happening in that field. You stick around. It's 7:39, GTV Breakfast.
Welcome back to GTV Breakfast. Introducing Koa Mixture, Koa Plus, and Koa MT Mixture by the Koa Research and Manufacturing Company Limited. Proudly made in Ghana, Koa Mixture is formulated to support your general well-being. So if you're seeking an immune system support, you can try the Koa Plus mixture, which supports your body's defenses and helps you stay strong. If you are diagnosed with malaria, Koa MT Mixture will aid your treatment and you'll get effective relief from your symptoms. And you should also try Koa MT Mixture. Only after you've taken a malaria test should you take Koa MT Mixture. So the 3, Koa Mixture, Koa Plus Mixture, and Koa MT Mixture, are not recommended for pregnant women, lactating mothers, or for children under the age of 12. Choose Koa Mixture, Koa Plus Mixture, and Koa MT Mixture for all your health needs. Available now at pharmacies nationwide. For bulk purchase, contact 0244 726611, 0244 726611, or 0591 565778, 0591 565778. That's the number to call. Welcome to the headline segment. I'll introduce my guest at the table with me today. Professor Daniel Bruce is a clinical psychologist, and Mr. John Kukujani is a forensic psychiatry specialist. Gentlemen, welcome back. It's another Tuesday.
Yeah.
And welcome back to GTV Breakfast.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Stella.
We've been all right. We've been all right. So some of you have had a break, a long one from when you left work on Thursday.
Yeah.
And you are only now coming back. Some of us never left. So welcome back from the break. It's the first working day of the week after the resurrection of the Lord Jesus Christ, which also meant that a lot happened during the weekend, and we'll be tracing some of the activities of the weekend very shortly. Key among them being the Kwahu Business Forum. We'll be talking about that this morning. But yesterday, the world woke up to the news of the passing of the Holy See, Pope Francis, who died at age 88. And I want to start our conversation with that. As we speak, lots happening in the Vatican, and we'll try and gain some insights into what to expect in the coming days. But let me get your initial reactions to the news that the man who has been Pope since 2013, taken over from Pope Benedict, has passed away. So I'll start with you, Mr. Jani.
Right. Let me say a good morning to everybody. I hope you all had good Easter. And for those coming back from Kwahu, drive safely, slow, blow. You all get here slowly. And I'll go back to what I've been on about recently, about Galamsey going down, keep taking it down, and pumping up the gold production. It is only the gold production that will make Ghana better. It will make our vaults in the Bank of Ghana have billions of gold there that will strengthen our city, to give us enough money to do our infrastructure and other things. So we project that in the next 10, 15 years or so, we will migrate from $10 billion to about $50 billion in receipts for gold. And that is where the game changer will be. So that's what I have to say now. Is there anything else you wanted me to talk about?
I asked about Pope Francis, and you went into
yes,
a whole
I had to give you that. Yes.
Okay.
It was a shock, but I expected it to come. This is a Pope that has been around for about 12 years. He's been for the marginalized and the disadvantaged. He's done very well for the 12 years that he's been, but there's been few issues around his tenancy, LGBTQ matters, issues at the Vatican in terms of corruption, at the bank and all that. But he has managed everything very well. He came to Africa, I think Cameroon, and went to Sudan, where he was hailed. I also know that there's a whole lot of arrangements going on at the Vatican as of now, and within the next 8 days or so, the burial would take place. He will lie in state at the Vatican, people will go past by, and a lot of condolences has been sent across the world from our main man, Mr. President Trump, second man, President Mahama, and other presidents across the world, UN Secretary and all, have sent condolences. He's done his bit. The pneumonia that he had did not help. Double pneumonia for about 2-3 weeks or so for an elderly man wasn't going to help, and that, I think, was the last straw. And he died around the Easter time. That was quite interesting, wasn't it? That around that time that we're having Easter, then the old man had to leave us. But he's done well for himself, and we'll always remember him for the good deeds that he did, especially for the disadvantaged and the poor.
Prof. Bruce, so yesterday I heard that as Christ resurrected, the Pope died.
Yes,
and on no less a day, a symbolic day like Easter Monday, we saw him coming to the balcony to address the thousands of people that had gathered there on Easter Sunday. So barely 24 hours, and then we hear the news of his passing. What did you think?
Well, first, our condolences to the Roman Catholic family. It's so significant that Christianity is real. Just as like John the Baptist says, he must go down for Christ to go up. In the same way, he has gone down for Christ also to go up. So he's gone to heaven. But then we need to accept the fact that human beings, we are vulnerable to death. So whatever position you are given, whether religious or secular, whatever, you must live in a way that very soon he will be replaced. But the person coming to take after him, the standard that he set, the person must struggle to meet that standard. So may his soul rest in peace. He has done well. He has done well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So worldwide leaders are continuing to express condolences following the death of Pope Francis. Yesterday, we saw a statement from the Buckingham Palace. His Majesty King Charles and the Queen expressed condolences. We saw Ghana's General Secretary of the Commonwealth, Madam Shirley Ayokobuche, also sharing a tribute on her Facebook page, saying that she's deeply saddened by the passing of His Holiness Pope Francis. Other world leaders, French President Emmanuel Macron, have all joined, and U.S. President Joe Biden, former U.S. President, has also been talking about the death. Mind you that the U.S. Vice President, Mr. J.D. Vance, met the Pope on Easter Sunday, the day before he passed away. So here's what we've gathered is going to happen in the next few days following the passing. So the Catholic Church will observe a 9-day mourning period. And they have a name for it, but I haven't rehearsed, so I'm not quite sure. It's Novem Dialis is what they are calling it. And during this time, daily masses and prayers will be held in memory of the late Pope. The Vatican flags are flown at half-mast during the period, and the bronze doors of St. Peter's Basilica are closed. For the funeral arrangements, it's expected that the Pope's coffin will be moved to St. Peter's Basilica to allow the faithful to pay their last respect. An exact date for the funeral has yet to be announced, but from what we are monitoring on international media platforms, it appears that it's held usually between 4 to 6 days after the Pope dies. And we've also heard that Pope Francis has requested to be buried in the Basilica of St. Mary Major in Rome, and he will be the first Pope to be interred there since Leo the 13th. And to be interred outside of the Vatican. So, like we said, the cardinals, the people who are going to select a new pope, will also be meeting, and there's a whole lot of, I don't want to say ritual, but there's a lot of processes that will go into the appointment of a new pope. Mind you that there is a Ghanaian in that group who will be one of the people voting for the new Pope, Cardinal Peter Kwadwo Texan. He's a Chancellor of the Pontifical Academy of Sciences. So that's what to expect. So, Mr. Jani, when you made your initial comments, you talked about, his legacy. Was it the only one that stood out for you when you remember the man Pope Francis, the fact that he made the "who am I to judge" comment about the LGBTQ?
Yeah, I think that was one. And remember, with the LGBTQ, African bishops or cardinals were a bit not on the same page with him at the time, I suspect. And his travels to Africa, and I saw pictures of him holding a child supposedly suffering from autistic, who is an autistic child, went down and kissed the foot of a prisoner. I thought those issues were very, very remarkable. And for one reason or the other, he never went to Argentina. I suspect for political reasons he never went there, even though that's where he comes from. He never visited the place. I'm not sure what is going to happen now, but we know that in the next few days, another Pontifex Maximum, that's what they called them years ago in ancient Rome, the Pontifex Maximum, will be appointed. And when the smoke, when the black smoke becomes white, they'll know that somebody, they go to the conclave, they've agreed on who should be the leader. And I hear Mr. Texan is in poor position, as I understand it. Even though, yes, I suspect so. Because internationally, this Pope was the first in 1,500 years from a place like Argentina to head what we call the Catholic Church. There's always been a talk as to why we haven't had an African. And I suspect that one of these days, and as for this time, it could be our main man, Mr. Texan, Bishop Texan. Let's pray for him, and let's hope that he gets there. It will be a big time for us. You don't believe it's going to happen, Thelma?
Well, I think I'll leave it for those who actually understand.
Well, what are your views? What are your thoughts?
Any Ghanaian that rises to any, position of importance is something that we should all be proud about. And I would certainly be proud if a Ghanaian were in there. Do I think he will be? Well, perhaps those who are there will be better placed. But if he does get it, Why wouldn't
He
we be
has
proud?
your
But the
support.
thing
He
is,
has your support, hasn't he?
Pope Francis never went back to Argentina, so once he gets it, we may never get him back to Ghana. But
It's the
but
conservative
it's a thought.
ideas, isn't it? It's the certain ideas within the Catholic Church which I think will swing this whole leadership. Remember, hitherto, before that, LGBTQ divorcees and all other issues were not very entertained. And now it looks like Pope, this current Pope, or just the last gone Pope, was accommodating and was fair to other people.
And that in itself created tensions with the conservative factions
That's the point
within
I'm
the
making.
Catholic fraternity, because there were those who felt that he shouldn't, you know, appear to be liberal towards those with that ideology.
And then the issue with the child abuse and all that.
Sexual
and
scandals.
That they never saw the end of it. So we'll have to wait to see.
Okay. Prof,
Yeah.
what do you think?
For me, I'm looking at the religious significance of his demise
Okay.
and the rising of a new pope.
Okay.
You know, he died on Easter Monday. And when Jesus Christ also resurrected, he lived on earth for 40 days and ascended into heaven. And thereafter, he sent down the Holy Spirit to descend upon his apostles. Before they do that, you know, they went into election to elect someone to replace Judas Iscariot. I'm sure the Holy Spirit at this time will elect somebody to represent the Pope. That will be chosen by God. So all these things are not happening in a vacuum.
Yeah.
It has a spiritual significance. But as it may be, see, when you are a leader up to that level of a Pope, this LGBTQ case, that will come. The whole world is saying, crucify them. But at the same time, your duty is to talk to the sinner to convert. That's why he was in that precarious position. We know it's a bad thing. And people are quoting the Bible as also making reference to Sodom and Gomorrah. Now that you are the head of the church, your God, that allow fire to consume people who are doing those things. You are representing the same God, and you are so lenient to this practice. I think we are all sinners. We know LGBTQ is not good. But when you are at the position of Pope, you can't say kill them, punish them. The same people ask you, oh, Pope, can't you have some kind of sympathy heart for them? So I think when you get to a point, you have to protect every human being, especially the sinners. You have to make sure that you talk to them to change. Killing them is not solving the problem. I am not supporting that practice. I am not supporting it at all. But Pope will not say, oh, go and kill them. He won't say it. He will never ever say it. So people will accuse him of all these things. And you see, you give birth to a child as a parent. The church is always talking to us that take good care of your child. It's a gift from God. If you, the parent, you fail, you expect Pope to come and change the situation for you. You, the parent, you are not doing well, and you expect the church to train your child for you. You are rather creating a problem for the church.
Right.
So Jesus Christ was trained by his parents very well. He never posed any problem to them. And so he also makes sure that he trained people in a proper way that they become useful to society. So we religious leaders, I think, when the thing is sinful, let's be frank and honest and say, this is sinful. But this is the way we have to go about it, to convert the people. If we have to push them to somewhere, like prisons, and go and preach to them, let's do it. Let's pack all the wrongdoers at a place. If you catch them, don't kill them, don't beat them, just let's create a place for them. Then we'll go and preach to them every day. This that you are doing is not nice. I hope the Holy Spirit will touch their hearts and they will change. We can't burn them anymore.
No.
Anyway, we can't burn them. But it's wrong. LGBTQ is wrong. It's wrong. It's never accepted by God. No matter how lenient we are to them, it's wrong. And people who are engaged in that, they must stop.
Prof,
Yeah.
making his thoughts clear on this matter, we're still waiting for further updates from the Vatican on the way forward. But for now, we know that a funeral will be held. The new pope will be elected in the coming days and weeks and Pope Francis yesterday, Easter Monday, passed away aged 88, and the Vatican said that he died of a cerebral stroke, which led to a coma and irreversible cardiocirculatory collapse, and he died at the residence in Vatican City. So we're expecting the mourning period to begin or to continue in earnest, and the Catholic faithful around the world will continue to pause in their activities, and he will be remembered in masses across the world, and I'm sure that the world will watch intently when the actual funeral actually gets underway. In the meantime, the cardinals are also preparing to gather and go through the process of electing the next leader of the Roman Catholic Church. Now, funerals of popes are known to be very solemn, simple ceremonies, and what we're seeing on the screen is the black smoke and the white smoke. So the black smoke, at some point when there's voting and there's no concrete winner or clear winner, we'll see the smoke being black. And then when a pope is elected by what, can we call it an electoral college? Then we'll see the smoke turning white. So the process of selecting a new pope will continue now in earnest as the world remembers the man, Pope Francis, the Argentine that became pope in the year 2013, and some of his legacies that will continue to be remembered include some of the things he did in Africa, visiting war-torn countries, sharing messages of hope and positivity with persons, emphasizing compassion, humility, and care for the marginalized, including refugees, prisoners, and the poor. So let's continue to monitor the international portals, and we'll get some more details when an announcement is made. For now, the Vatican and the entire Roman Catholic world is in mourning.
And even though he was the leader for the 1.4 billion Catholics, he was very receptive to Muslims and other faiths.
When he went to Egypt, for example.
Yes, Palestinians and all those persons that were not within that his fraternity. And so he was a very open pope and very accommodating. You talk about the Sudan issue, and then
he went to Kenya as well.
DRC Congo, and they all held him there. And he's done a fantastic job, I think. Very fantastic job. Okay. May his soul rest in absolute peace.
Of course, his time as Pope was not without its challenges, and like my guests have said, issues concerning same-sex marriage blessings and divorced and remarried Catholics and all that, you know, created a few tensions. But he will largely be remembered as a man who stood with the marginalized in society, and he did this everywhere he went. So today we also join the world in mourning the passing of the Pope. Some called him the People's Pope. For those who met him, including Reverend Father Andrew Campbell, this would be very, very, you know, an emotional time, obviously, because this is the man that they all look up to. And so we continue to keep all our Catholic brothers and sisters in our prayers as the Pope makes his final journey home. We'll wait for the update from the officials at the Vatican City for communication on the way forward when the actual funeral will take place. So the Pope traveled the world. He met many world leaders. We are seeing him now with His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, former president of the Republic of Ghana. He met several key figures. He embraced people widely, and the world continues to mourn his passing.
Well, can we say something about the Roman Catholic Church itself?
A brief one then.
A brief one. You know, I like the Roman Catholic Church for the fact that, see, they observe and practice their liturgical practices to the latter, making sure that they revere God in everything that they do. They don't go out on large crusades and all that, doing like we do in our churches, but they still have committed and dedicated followers. They are Roman Catholic fans. They speak with passion to the members of their church. Socialization and everything into it like that. Not with our churches. Roman fathers, they sit with their people, they drink at tables. They do that in a charismatic Pentecostal and other Orthodox churches. You, the pastor, you are a sinner. They love their congregants. They socialize with them. No, I mean, Roman Catholic Church, I mean, let's give it to them. They may have their weaknesses and all that, but it's a well-disciplined church. You never see a difference between one Reverend Father and the other when it comes to matters of the rights of the liturgy and even the addresses. You never know the difference between this one. No. Every father, wherever you go, they behave like brothers and sisters. And they love each other. That is not with us, the Orthodox churches. You see, where he went and embracing the Muslims and all that, Ghana here, can we do that? Our religious leaders cannot do that. We see ourselves as different from other people. But this man, you know that we are all children of God. We enjoy the same sunshine, the same rain. So may his soul rest in peace.
Okay. So the Vatican says that all the faithful will get to see the translation of the Holy Father's mortal remains to the Vatican Basilica on the morning of Wednesday, April 23, 2023. And that's the arrangements that shall be determined when the congregation of cardinals starts. So when the cardinals meet, some more communications will be made. A mass, a canonization mass for the Blessed Carlo Ancuti. So there's a lot of Italian terms that we'll be hearing for the next few days, and a lot more time will be made available for us to understand perhaps what the entire process is. But we'll keep monitoring all the international portals, and when there is news to share, we will bring that to you. So there are other matters on the board that I also want us to focus on. So, for example, on Saturday, while some of you were in Kwahu, perhaps spending time with family, perhaps paragliding, perhaps, having fun winding down, several key government appointees and lots of other stakeholders were at the Kwahu Business Forum. And they met there to discuss matters relating to ensuring that businesses thrive. And the President of the Republic, His Excellency John Mahama, was one of the persons who addressed that session. And he made, I'm sure that you watched the session, giving his plan for Afram Plains being a hub for agri-business and agri-processing and all that. We saw the political divide, both sides represented in that forum, and the repetitive calls for the Core Business Forum to be non-partisan and to offer platforms for initiatives and plans to be outlined in furtherance of the economy were also highlighted. And I just want to pick your thoughts on what you think the goal was and whether it was achieved. A lot of plans were talked about. The businessmen and women were there in their numbers. Lots of small and medium enterprises were also there, all looking for opportunities to expand. I'll start with you, Professor Bruce.
Yeah, I think it was a very good idea, a very important one. It has never happened before, maybe in a form that never happened like it happened in Kwahu. So if for once we've realized that we need to come together to develop our businesses and make our businesses in the local arena grow and develop, and that was the place they went to discuss the pros and cons the restrictive factors, if they can remove all these things and come together and say, oh, what do we do in order to make sure that we grow our businesses? Ghanaians, we are not lazy. It's only restrictions, application to the banks to help you, how to get land, how to register your business. Those things, if we can leverage them and make them very easy, I think the outcome of that gathering will be very highly successful. The president also mentioning that there's going to construct some bridges so that they will not use the ferry and all those things. If those things are actualized, I think that place is good for agricultural production. We will be developing as a nation. So let's pray that all that they talked about, there must be policy frameworks that to be developed from that to guide whoever wants to go to whichever business that the person will want to engage in. So all the factors that they will have identified as factors rising against or preventing the Ghanaian local business people from developing, if they're able to work on all these factors and remove those obstacles, I think Ghana will go far. We'll go far. And the youth and everybody who is seeking for employment or trying to practice his or her skills, there'll be enough space and opportunity for everybody to do so. So we pray that the initiators of this idea will also put in all the necessary measures that the goal for this meeting will be achieved. I am happy because the president himself on Friday at the Independence Square preached.
Right.
And his emphasis on helping people to develop. Coming from that background, I know that he's going to apply the scripture he used to preach. If we are able to help each other, nobody will be down there. Everybody will be helped to rise up and level shoulders with people, and we all move. If all of us will develop and have money, there's nothing wrong if all of us are driving V8, provided we have the space to drive, we have the roads to drive on. If everybody build a house, I mean, it's good. So let's help each other so that we can develop ourselves. Too much dependence on foreigners to help us is becoming too much. We are losing our Africanness and our maturity, our ability to be on our own. And that's why people are bringing a lot of restrictions. They don't respect us. They treat us, even when they employ us in Ghana here, the way they treat us, I know that it's not good. So let's develop ourselves, our businesses, and we shall be proud of it. So I thank them. May they make sure that all that they have discussed are implemented.
Mr. Jani,
Right.
focus on SMEs, financial inclusion, and all that. That was the focus at Kwahu.
But the question I asked myself was, why Kwahu? Now, if you go back to history, you find that the Kwahus are very businesslike.
Astute business.
They they started from Okanshin, had shops around there. We, in fact, our family lent shops to them for many, many years. So you have the Kwahu Motors, you remember Kwahu Motors? The Sumwes, iron rod dealers, a whole lot of them were in Accra, especially in the Adabaka environs. And so I think that is where the president and his advisors took this thing from. That, look, let's start with the guys that have the genetics for business, and let's spread it out across the country. And currently, there are still big boys in Ghana who have built big mansions, where when you go there, the houses are there, but they hardly go to visit the houses. Sometimes I think it's even a bad investment that those houses should have been built at airport or East Legon. But the president has said the right things, that businessmen are the people who build this country. Governments will not do it. They don't have that capacity. Businessmen have an ability to follow the issue till they get to the end of it and make money. They have an eye on money. And so if we can get them, give them funding from the banks and let them create jobs for people and government support them, that will be the critical areas that he's looking at. And I was happy because it has got to a time that if you're a businessman in Ghana and your counterpart comes from Europe and he's talking to you, he knows that. You don't even have money in your bank account. Most businessmen don't have $50,000 in their bank accounts. You need to empower people in the country to make money. So
and that's why the financial institutions were such key players at this Kwahu Summit, because the institutions and the private sector players were brought together, and the platform just to highlight investment opportunities and discuss policy interventions, building a more resilient and competitive industry.
Right.
Was the goal.
Look at the Americas. You have Bill Gates, you have Bezos, you have Zuckerberg. All these guys are individuals who have created fantastic wealth for the nation in billions. Their cumulative wealth can buy the whole of Africa forever. And therefore, it tells you that there's something in business that we need to appreciate and get involved in. Train people, let them understand what money is, get infrastructure. The banks can support them to build up their feasibility studies properly so that they will support them, monitor them, and follow them up, and make sure people will be wealthy. People should have money and support other people and employ other people. If you have a government that comes for 4 years and goes away and another government comes, the problem has always been that when you have businessmen that are created by, say, this government, the next government comes and says, no, these guys, we have to choke them. We'll spoil their business. We don't want them around here. And then it goes in cycles and cycles. The start of this business should go on and on and on. We shouldn't stop.
What do you think about the president's comments about our work ethics as a people, and the fact that for some businessmen and women, the trust in the employee is just not there because some employees misconduct themselves? And the anecdote that he shared about, he bought a vehicle and then somebody ran the vehicle down, he was meant to, generating this whole conversation about the employer-employee relationship. Prof, what did you think about that?
Some people are simply not in the position to be trusted. What he has said is happening to a lot of people. Even this morning, somebody has parked the Uber, somebody has parked the taxi. You see a gentleman and you want to help the gentleman. But what they give you in return, it's not the best. So the work ethics is very, very important. However, you yourself, you must present yourself to be trusted. Otherwise, in business, there are a lot of what name do I give it? You think you are smart. That should not happen again. You see, it's very, very important. There are people, when you employ them in your business, they are only interested in what you pay them, but how to make the business grow, to look after the business. They don't have that energy.
But there are also bad employers who also take advantage of their workforce.
You see, we have interviewed a lot of people. When people come to interview, you think, yes, this is the man, but employ him and see. Employ him and see. You see, so the work ethics is very, very important. We have to come out with a policy. Otherwise, this thing that you are holding, the phone, it's one thing. People are there with a lot of things to do, but they are more interested in doing things that are not connected to the business. So many things are happening. People get to workplace as and when they like. When you talk, you say it's traffic. Friday is funeral. If there's a holiday, You see, they will not do the work, but rather, when it is 5 p.m., then they say they are doing part-time. Or what do you call it?
Overtime.
Overtime. What were you doing? They use the employer's work time to do something else. And for them to finish, they say, I'm doing overwork. Just because they want to get money. Why can't you finish the work and have time for yourself? So this overwork thing, they must have a look at it. It's a very nice way of stealing employers' time. In addition, when they finish the work, they take the money from you. So we have to be very careful with this. I'm happy the president is raising it. The work ethics. No. We employ people, they are not functioning. They are not working. Look at this gentleman here. They're in this cold room, moving machine left, up and down. It is not happening outside there. It's a different sport. So the work ethics, we have to work on it. We have to work on it. Otherwise, people invest and they don't get anything in return.
I think if you set up a company, your human resource manager or managers, one of the responsibilities is continuous training at the workplace. You see, you do assume, people tend to assume that, this man can do the job. Totally false. Or the president will say, he can't do it. If you don't train them, they will not be able to do it. And even if you train them, you have to do it continuously. In UK, when I was there, I think I must have gone for more than 50 courses. Every 2 days, you have to go and do a course. Even has to ask to how to answer a telephone, how to speak on the telephone, how to talk to people, communication skills, all sorts of issues that we take for granted. So if you have a company where the secretary is rude, and somebody walks in and says, Madam Master, it's not that. Immediately, if he's a businessman, he knows the psychology of the company that he's talking to. So training, and training, and training, and more training. If you assume that people can do the work that you've assigned to them, but they won't be able to do it. I remember Honorable E.T. Mr. telling me a story. May his soul rest in peace. That a few guys walked to his house and started shouting, he says, okay. He packed about 50 of them to TDC to go and work. When they went, the next day, the manager called, the boys, they are fighting every day. They don't work. Every time they are fighting. You see, it's not to do with, they don't even know what to do at the workplace. So until you take them through certain courses to understand what they are supposed to do. I mean, this job you're doing, you must have been trained. Obviously, otherwise you won't be able to do it. And other people start shouting, who is this one sitting there? Annoying everybody on the set, everybody. So training, and more training is what we need.
Kwahu was also alive, and people were sharing lots of love following the photographs that were flooded across social media of the president and the former president who met on the sidelines of the Kwahu Business Summit. So President John Mahama met President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo in Kwahu, and they exchanged the warm. No, it was very cordial, and people were very happy to see that, because we also know that the former president, his party, the NPP, will be on tour sometime soon, with the former vice president being going on the thank you tour. But this happened, and the internet loved to see it. The pictures on your screen, President Mahama meeting President Akufo-Addo and exchanging all that nice vibe. It's a vibe. Yesterday, I told them we like to see it, and we are very happy. It shows that we are, in sync. We are still
leadership
friendly. We are still cordial. We are still cool. We might disagree on how to do things,
but those are ambassadorial skills, and for a leader,
diplomacy
and ambassadorial skills. You must be able to present, even if you're at war with the person, to sit down and shake his hand and have a chat with him. And later when you go back, you start reviewing how to deal with the person. That's the way you do business. Yes.
Anyway, so that's for Kwahu, and I'm sure that perhaps at a later time, some of the government officials may sit with us and explain where we are going based on the conversations that happened at that business forum. But let me bring one last matter to your attention before we rise from the table. Government has revoked the lease of Akonta Mining Company Limited with immediate effect, and this is because Akonta Mining does not have a lease to mine in the Tano Nimiri Forest Reserve, making their mining activities in the forest illegal and criminal. Yesterday, the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Mr. Emmanuel Amakofibo, briefed the media in Accra, and he said that the President had authorized the Minerals Commission to take steps to revoke the lease of Akonta Mining Company Limited with immediate effect. You can get details on page 14 of today's edition of the Ghanaian Times newspaper. It's also in the Daily Graphic, and you can get the details there. Timely? Prof, what do you think?
It's too late.
Too late?
It should have happened long ago. The owner of that Akonta mine, what happened? They have allowed him to devastate the forest, to destroy the forest. Now we are going. But it's good. When they arrested the workers, who is the owner of this company? He himself must be arrested. The owner of that company must be arrested. He's not arrested. The poor workers, the Koreans, the Chinese, the Ghanaians, they were sent there by somebody. That person who sent them there must also be arrested to serve as a deterrent to others who may be thinking to act like him. So it's good. I want to call upon President Mahama to borrow the words of Pontius Pilate in John chapter 10, verse 10. He asked, he said, do you know I have the power to release you and I have the power to crucify you? I want President John Mahama to use the power we gave him to crucify all those people who are engaging in this galamsey. He should not spare them. He should use the power we gave him to crucify them so that our river bodies will gain salvation. Our farmlands will get salvation. Our forest reserve will get salvation. Other than that, if he doesn't crucify them, then he's in league with them. We'll never spare him at all.
Yesterday, the minister said the company is legally registered and granted a government lease to mine responsibly off reserve outside the forest. However, the company did not possess an entry permit into the forest reserve of the Samaboy enclave of the Western North region. It went on to say that investigations revealed that Akunta Mining had abused the lease and that they had gone into areas that they were not supposed to. They had trespassed into protected reserves, and the minister said that they had become a criminal syndicate, selling acres of Aboy Forest Reserve to illegal miners for 300,000 Ghana cedis per concession. That's what one of the things the minister said yesterday. And he also alleged that Akunta Mining, illegal miners operate under Akunta's protection, devastating River Tano and surrounding forests with impunity, and that they have encroached on compartment 49 and 121 of the Tano Nimri Forest Reserve. And so he also refers to an undercover investigation that was ongoing and the revelations from that undercover investigation.
You see all these things, very heavy words. Criminality comes in, and the owner of that company is not arrested.
Let me congratulate the Honorable Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. I think he's doing a fantastic job. A few weeks ago when I came here, there was something about EPA or somebody, some guy saying that, no, the president should ban this thing immediately, and you can't do that. The way Mr. Boa is going about it is just the way you do it. It then allows you to understand the skirmishes that are going on inside, so that in case you want to prosecute, you have all the information that you need to use, rather than sending the military and say, next week nobody should mine. Well, where are you going to get information from? The job of the military is to go there and just go and skirmish the operation and get them out. But if you go about it in a methodological manner, you are quite able to pick them up. It's not only him. I get shocked every day when I wake up and they open the newspapers. There's another horror stories about Galamsey. I'm very sure that tomorrow we have another funny story. This is ridiculous. I can't believe it. It tells you that greed was very, very rampant in the last, what we call, government. Are you telling me the president didn't know this was going on? Or his ministers didn't know what was going on? Of course they did. But they kept a blind eye, and nobody will be punished. Get on with it. We see it, but we don't see it. You see where it's gotten us to? Meanwhile, you're killing everybody with water. You're killing the public with the bad water. It is not acceptable. It is immoral. It's not good enough. And we must change the way we behave. I'm sure President Mahama has got a mandate to use the power of the presidency to do things that has to be done. A few people might complain, but the majority of us will be happy that the good things are done. If he gets rid of the Galamsey boys, okay, 3,000 or 4,000, okay, no problem. But about 30 million of us will be happy that it's been done. So, Mr. President, get on with it. You have our support any day. Get on with it.
The convener of the media coalition against Galamsey, Dr. Ken Ashigbe, will be sitting with Kwahu Day a bit later on to talk about Earth Day, which falls today, and he's one of the vocal voices against illegal mining. In fact, he's called on the government to publish names of financiers of excavators because they are not cheap. Yesterday, the minister told us that 51 arrests had been made, 8 Chinese nationals and 43 Ghanaians. About 30 excavators had been seized. 5 were recovered and impounded at the operation base. 2 pump-action guns loaded with 5 and 2 rounds of cartridges. You know, vehicles, Toyota Hilux pickups and RAV4 motorbikes and other mining equipment were all seized. And he says that the government remains unwavering in its commitment to eradicate illegal mining, which the minister described as an environmental sin against humanity and against God. And we are all for stopping illegal mining at this table. Kwahu will have that conversation with the engineer a bit later on. But this is where we will pause on the conversation. Until next time with you, gentlemen, Professor Daniel Bruce, clinical psychologist, and Mr. John Kukujani, forensic psychiatry specialist. Thank you for sitting with us once again today.
It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure.
Next week. And we'll wrap on this segment. Remember that today, ECOWAS is launching its 50th anniversary, and all the activities will be live on GBC News. So join the conversations there as well. We'll take a quick break. When we return, the BFS continues.